Hello and welcome back once again in English video. In this video today we are going to do lesson degrees of adjectives. Now children, every adjective has 3 degrees: positive, comparative and superlative. So in this chapter, in this video, I am going to tell you how do we use those degrees, where do we use those degrees, and uh, how they are useful for making a sentence. Now, positive degree, there are 3 degrees: positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. Now as you all know that in verbs there are 3 forms. Basically there are 3 forms, there are more than that, but basically there are 3 forms: for first form of the verb, second form of the verb and third form of the verb. So when we are creating a sentence, or when we are making a sentence, we use all the 3 forms as we make sentences in different tenses. All right, same in the same way, the adjective is also having 3 degrees: positive, comparative and superlative, and we use them according to the need of the sentence. Now for a positive degree is the first degree of the adjective, and you can take it as the first form of the verb. Like first form of the verb is base form of the verb. All right, so this positive degree of compare and this positive degree of adjective is the first form. You can take it as first form, and it is used in a sentence. You all know that adjectives are used to describe a noun, or you can say a noun or pronoun or person, things. All right, so positive degree is used in that sentence where we are not making any comparison. Comparison means we are not comparing two things, or when, like, you know that when we compare two things, this is good, this is the best. All right, so we are making comparison. Which one is good? We have two choices and we have to tell which one is better. All right, so better in, it can be better in any sense. It can be look wise. Adjectives, you all know kinds of adjectives you have read, right? So adjectives can be of many kinds. So in that way we will also use these degrees of adjective. So first is positive degree. Positive degree we use in that case when we are not making any comparison between the person or things, or you can say noun. All right, for example, Neha is a tall girl. Now here you all know that tall is an adjective because it is describing the noun girl. All right, so Neha is a tall girl. Now here you can see in the sentence there is only one girl, Neha. All right, we are not talking about any other noun or any other girl or any other person in the sentence. So that means we are not talking anybody about anybody, neither we are comparing this Neha with anybody. So in that case, or in the sentences like this where we are not making any comparison, we are just talking about one particular noun, we will use positive degree of comparison for that noun to describe that particular noun. All right, so here in the sentence, for example, Neha is a tall girl. The examples are, you can say uh, this is a good pen. All right, this is a good pen. Now I have only one noun here in the sentence, pen. So this is a good pen. I have no choices, so I will say this is a good pen, this is a bad pen, this is a beautiful pen. All right, so in this way, when we are talking about one particular noun, we will not make any comparison, so we will use a positive degree of adjective to describe that particular noun. Next is comparative degree. We use comparative degree when we compare two persons or things. Now comparative degree, as the name is showing, that when we are comparing two things, when we are telling which one is good, which one is bad, between two, we have two choices and we have to tell about one particular thing or one person or thing uh, amongst the two. That means we are making comparison. So in that case, when we are comparing two things or to person, or you can say noun, we will use comparative degree to describe that noun. Now here in the example, Mary is taller than Neha. Again you can see here in the sentence, in the given sentence, Mary and Neha are the two girls. So that means we have to compare these two girls. And in what sense we are comparing them? Neha is taller. So taller means we are talking about their height. Alright. So we are comparing their height. So we are comparing who is taller. So I will say Mary is taller than Neha. So here the comparison is being made between Mary and Neha. And there you can count 1 and 2. There are two nouns here, you can say two person. So we will use comparative degree, taller. Alright. Next is the third and the last degree of comparison of adjective is superlative. We use a superlative degree when we compare more than two persons or things. Now, in the third case, you use superlative degree to compare more than two person or things. Alright. When we are having more than two choices, we are having more than two things to describe or two things to compare, you can use superlative degree to describe those nouns. For example, here Sonali is the tallest of the three girls. Now here you can see that there are three girls. Alright, Sonali is also there, and including Sonali there are three girls. So that means we have persons more than two. Three girls. It is clearly written here, three girls. So the degree of adjective we will use to compare all the three girls will be the superlative degree, and the superlative degree is the tallest. Now next comes formations of comparative and superlative degrees. Now you can see that the positive degree is the base adjectives. Alright, like you have base form of the verbs, they are as written as they are made. But when we want to use the comparative or superlative degree of adjectives, we need to form them, and there are certain rules to form those comparative degrees and superlative degrees. So how we can form these comparative and superlative degrees? Let's see here. There are 4 to 5 you know 4 to 5 ways, or you can say 4 to 5 rules to create or to compare to form superlative and comparative degrees. So let's see one by one how we can form them. Now first case, you can form the comparative degree and the superlative degree by adding er and est to the positive. Now if you are having a positive degree, in some cases you can add just er and est to the positives. You no need to change anything. You no need to change any letter or any other thing. Just you have to add er at the end of that positive adjective for the comparative and est for the superlative degree. Now here you can see bold. For comparative I have added er, so it has become bold, bolder, and for superlative we have added est. Next example is bright. Then we have added er for comparative, brighter, and est for superlative, brightest. It has become bright, brighter, and brightest. Suppose for example if you are not comparing anybody, you will say the day is brighter today. So if you are talking about only today, so the day is bright today. If you are talking about 2 days, that means you are comparing today and yesterday. Yesterday it was brighter than today. Alright, yesterday it was brighter than today. That means you are comparing 2 days, yesterday also and today. You can say day before yesterday was the brightest. Now you are having 3 days, today, yesterday, and day before yesterday. So you are saying that day before yesterday was the brightest. That means when you are having more than 3 person or things, or you can say noun, you are talking about two things, you are comparing two, more than two things, you will use the superlative degree. So today is bright, yesterday it was brighter, and day before yesterday was the brightest, like this. All right, next is cleverer, clever, cleverer, and cleverest. Now for example, in a sentence, how you will use Meeta is a clever girl. All right, Meeta is a clever girl. And in this sentence, we are using positive degree of adjective because we are not comparing anybody. We are just talking about Meeta, only one noun or a person. Next example is Meeta. Shikha is cleverer than Meeta. All right. So here in the second sentence, I am comparing two girls, two nouns, two persons, Meeta and Shikha. So I said Shikha is cleverer than Meeta. All right. Next is Sarita is the cleverest amongst three. That means here I have said three. So it means I have three person in a sentence. I am comparing three persons in a sentence. So I have said that Sarita is the cleverest among the three. So I'm talking about Meeta, Shikha and Sarita. So which one is who is the cleverest? Sarita. So then I will write the superlative degree, the cleverest. All right. Here like this you use your adjectives, degrees of adjectives in a sentence. Next is deep, deeper, deepest. Next is by adding R and ST to the positive. The second rule is you can just add R or ST to the positive to make it comparative or superlative. Now in this, how you will recognize, how you will identify that where you have to add R or ST or to which adjectives. So let me give you one hint, or you can give you one trick that how you will find out, how you will make out that in which adjectives you will use R and ST. Now here you can see I have written 4 examples and all the 4 examples are ending with E. So it is brave, pure, noble, wise. BRAVE, PURE, NOBLE and WISE. So those words, those adjectives which end with E, you will just add R to make them comparative degree, and you will add ST, all right, RST to make it superlative degree. All right. So let's read the example. BRAVE, brave, BRAVE was the base and we have added R to make it comparative, braver. And superlative, we have written the positive BRAVE, brave, ST, brave west. Here I have written extra R, BRAVE ST, brave west. All right. Next is noble, nobler, noblest. Last is wise, wiser, wisest. All right. Next is by adding final consonant and adding ER and ST. So by this third rule is saying that you can add a final consonant and then you can use ER or EST. Now in some adjectives in the positive form, we add the last consonant. That means the adjectives which are ending with the consonant. All right, you can see here big, red, thin, hot. Big is ending with G, red is ending with D, thin is ending with N, and hot is ending with T. So those words which end with consonants, you all know consonants and vowels, all right. So those words adjectives which end with consonant and has a vowel before them, all right. you can say, you can see here, it is making a group like one vowel, that end is consonant, vowel and end is consonant, vowel and end is consonant. So in these kind of words, you will add this last consonant for making it comparative and superlative. Add means you will make the G double, like here, big positive GER, bigger, red positive DDER, der, thin positive NER. I have doubled the last consonant, G double, D double, N double, T double. Again here also in the superlative, biggest, the last consonant is doubled and we have added EST. Bigger, biggest, red, redder, reddest, thin, thinner, thinnest, hot, hotter, hottest. So have you understood? First was the simple words. We no need to make any thinking. We no need to think anything to make it positive or comparative. We have to just add ER and EST. But if the vowel, if the adjective is ending with E, if the adjective is ending with E, you will add R for making comparative and EST to superlative degree. And if the third rule is, and if the adjective is ending with consonant and has a vowel before that consonant, like big, alright, you will add the last consonant, you will double the last consonant, and you will add ER and EST to make it comparative and superlative. Fourth is by changing Y into I and adding ER and EST. Now, those words or those adjectives which have Y at their end, alright, we will just remove Y and we will add I. And then we can add ER and EST to make them comparative and superlative. Now, like pretty, it is ending with Y. I have removed Y to make it comparative, and I have added I and ER. Pretty, Y is removed by I and ER. Prettier, here for superlative, prettiest. Y is removed, Y is changed by I and EST we always used for superlative. Pretty, prettier, prettiest. Happy, happier, happiest. So basically you have to focus on the letters or the spellings of the adjectives and how they are ending. All right, so you have to just learn these rules, keep these rules in your mind, and you have to fix those rules according to the words, the spellings. All right, you just need to focus on the ending of the word, like here, if there is Y, it just straightly should come to your mind that if there is Y, you will just remove Y, and you will add I, and ER and EST are same we use for all superlative, comparative and superlative degrees. Alright, so here do like this. Now fifth is by adding more and most. Positive. Now in some sentences we add more or the most, like urgent, more urgent, most urgent. Useful, more useful, most useful. Alright, same in the same way. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Alright, like this. Sixth and the last is irregular formation of adjectives. Now some are irregular, that we don't use ER or EST to some of the adjectives. They are irregular. They are called irregular formation of adjectives. So these you must need to learn. Like bad, sorry, bad, positive degree, comparative is worse, and superlative is worst. Much, more, most, little, less, least. So these are there are many other words like these who form irregular formations, who have irregular formations of the adjectives. So they are given in the books. You go and read your books in for that list. There will be many and plenty of examples about all these rules, and rules I have explained you that there are 6 rules, all right, to change the positive to comparative and superlative. So now let's see points to remember. The first point to remember is comparative degree should be followed by then. Now, the first point that you should remember whenever you are using comparative degree is that you will use then, all right, after comparative degree. It means that whenever you are using comparative degree we use when we are comparing two things. So when we are comparing two things, you have to, or you need to put then after the degree which you have used. Like for example, I take prettier, so I say Seema is prettier than Asha. So I am comparing Seema and Asha, and I am using comparative degree here because they are two person. So after prettier I will use then. I will always use THAN then whenever I am using comparative degree. All right, because and also one thing you have to remember is that you will write the spelling THAN then. Most of the children, what mistake they do, that you use THEN. There are children two then, one is then and one is then. It is there are two words then, and there is very much difference between these two words, then and then, in the spelling also THAN, and the other one is THEN. all right, THAN is pronounced then and THEN is pronounced then and then. All right, then is used to compare something, like we use for comparative degree. With comparative degree we use THAN then, and THEN then is used for the time. Then I went home, then I ate some chocolates. All right, are you getting my point? Then she wrote her notes, then she slept. All right, so then and then are the two different words and are used differently in different sentences. Next point to be remembered is article the should be used before superlative. Now in the comparative we are using after the degree, and in the second rule we will use the article the before superlative. It means that whenever you will use the superlative degree of adjective in any sentence, you will use the before the superlative always. Like you will say the prettiest, the happiest, the tallest, the shortest, the youngest, the oldest, like this. So whenever you are using the superlative degree of adjective, you need to use the article the. Now let's see the exercises here related to this chapter. The first question in this exercise is fill in the blanks with the comparative or superlative degrees of the adjective given in the brackets. Now in this exercise the base adjective, or you can say positive degrees, are given in the bracket, and you have to change them. You have to use them, those positive degrees, in comparative or in superlative form in these given sentences. So the first one is Adnan Sami is dash then Akshay, and the adjective, the positive adjective is fat. All right, so look and read the sentence carefully, that we are comparing superlative and comparative degrees, both are used for comparison, but you need to just keep this thing in mind that some comparative is for two things, two persons, and superlative is more than two person or noun. So here there are only two noun here, two person, Adnan Sami and Akshay. So here there are only two persons, so we will use the comparative degree of fat. So it is fat, and comparative, for the comparative degree we need to use ER. All right, so I will write FAT, fat. But according to the second rule, if according to the third rule, if the last letter of the adjective is T and it has a noun, so it has a vowel before it, so we will double this last letter, we will make it double T, and we will add ER. So it will become the Adnan Sami is fatter than Akshay. So here it is written then. So it is also clear from this then that we will use the comparative degree in this sentence. Next is the Taj is dash than any other building. Now here again we are using then here in the sentence. So again we will use the comparative degree here. So we will use beautiful, and to make it comparative, for beautiful word we use more. The Taj is more beautiful than any other building. Alright. Third is February has dash days than January. Again then is coming, so it means again we have to use here the comparative degree of few. So we will write few and fewer. Alright. Next is the patient's condition is dash as compared to yesterday. Now here we are using yesterday, it means compared to yesterday, it means we are talking about the today and yesterday. So bad, the second form of this adjective is worse. It is worse. Bad, comparative degree is W-O-R-S-E, worse. Alright, W-O-R-S-E. The fifth is honey is dash than milk. Now honey is dash than milk. The adjective is sweet. So then is written. So again here it is comparative. Honey is sweeter than milk. Next is you are dash than your friend. Here it is tall. Then your friend is become, it means comparative, taller than your friend. Last is she is the dash in the group. Now here we are talking about group. So group, there are more than 2 persons. So we will use she is youngest. EST. The is written already. Alright, the is already written. It means this the gives you the hint that here the superlative degree of this word or this adjective will be used. Then here in the sentences is hinting that in these sentences we will use the comparative degree of the adjectives. Alright, now let's see the next and the last exercise. Write the comparative and superlative degrees for the given adjectives. Now I have given you the positives and you have to make comparative and superlative according to the rule I have told you. Alright, so big, it's big, you will write bigger. You will double the last letter because there is a vowel before this consonant. Bigger and then big guest. Ugly, here ugly is ending with Y, so we will remove this Y. Alright, according to that rule. Ugly, U-G-L, uglier and ugliest. Alright. Bold, bolder, boldest. Difficult, easy, again here it is Y, so E-A-S-I-E-R, easier, E-A-S-I-E-S-T, easiest. Alright, we have removed Y from this. Difficult, it is more difficult, most difficult. Difficult, more difficult, most difficult. Ill is again like you have used for bad, worse, worst. So ill, worse and worst. Ill is also the word which we use for the bad, like bad. Alright, for bad and ill we use worst for the comparative and superlative worst. So ill is a irregular form of adjective where we don't use er or est, we use a different set of word to make comparative and superlative or this kind of positives. Alright, so I hope you have understood this chapter and do this chapter well. Just watch the video again and again if you don't understand anything, and make a habit of viewing the video and then do your work in your worksheets. Alright, you will get your answers in your videos. So till the next video, stay home, stay safe. Thank you.